My name is Reverend Brandan Robertson, and I'm a pastor, author, and activist based in New York City. And I am so excited to be gathered with new friends and old here on this call of Christians for Kamala. This is one of the most important elections in modern history. I know you've heard that all throughout this election cycle and many times on this call tonight, but it's true. The country faces a pivotal choice. We have the choice between Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, two men whose values are so fundamentally antithetical to the values that America has claimed as our own, and especially the values that we claim dear as followers of Jesus. And it's so heartbreaking to see the people that helped me come to faith, evangelical Christians, lining up en masse to support Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, even though their policies, and more than that, their moral behavior, is so antithetical to everything that Jesus preached and embodied. That's why it is so essential in this moment of history for Christians of conscience and moral courage to step up, to speak up, and to gladly cast our votes for Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz. Our votes are votes for equality and dignity. They are votes for justice for those who arrive at our borders seeking asylum or a better life. Our votes are to protect children in schools from gun violence. Our votes are to protect women's fundamental right over their bodies. Our votes are to protect the LGBT community who continually faces marginalization and abuse from those who claim to stand on the moral values of the Christian faith. It is high time in this moment that Christians of progressive and inclusive theology stand up and speak up. We make our voices louder than the voices of the religious right, and we show the world that there are true followers of Jesus, true people that are inspired by the way of Jesus and his fundamental message to love our neighbors as ourselves. And the way we're going to love our neighbors is by casting our votes for Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz. I know that as we're gathered here tonight, this is just the beginning of this movement, of Christians and indeed of people of faith from all backgrounds coming together to unite our voices and to say that we are voting for a better future for our country. It is time for us to come together and to say that we are refusing to go backwards, that we are listening to the voice of the Spirit of God which beckons us forward towards a more just and equal future for us all. And that is why I am so glad to endorse Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz as my choice for President and Vice President of the United States. And I call on all Christians to reflect deeply on the values of Jesus and the country that we want to see for our children and our grandchildren, and to cast your vote in alignment with that. Our scriptures say that for such a time as this, we were raised up. So let us take the moral high ground in this moment. Let us reclaim the public square as progressive people of faith. Let us show the nation and indeed show the world that America is still a nation with a moral backbone, that we are still a nation of justice and equity and a better future for all people. That is what a vote for Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz is all about. And I am so honored to give her my endorsement and to call on all those of conscience and courage to consider casting their vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good night.